There's Frankie. Oh, baby. Oh, you sweet boy. I love you so much. You little killer. My son is a killer. And I'm so ashamed. But I love you so much, I'll bail you out every time. I'll bail you out. He loves me. Okay, so I haven't seen you for a while. And I've missed you. I've thought about you. Hi, Plum. I have had not so great luck with my new brown eyeliner. This is the third time I've used it, and it's already acting like it's dry. I've read reviews where people have complained about different eyeliners. This one should be wonderful. I love the tip. I loved how it worked the first 2 times. Okay, so I haven't seen you because I haven't had much privacy. I used a darker foundation today. What do you think? It doesn't match my neck very well, though, does it? But I like it better. I love me tan. Oh, well. I've watched people do their head different than their neck for all my life. And I almost always put makeup down on my neck. And I just didn't put enough. Plus, lighting doesn't, I'm trying to get this just to get suck a little more life out of it. Okay, so I was telling you, I haven't had much privacy lately. You know how we try to talk each other up, talk ourselves into recognizing that if we're living with someone who's moody and grouchy and self-centered and rude, we want to stick up for ourselves, right? Yeah, we do. We want to say what we mean what we say, don't say it mean, and let them know what our healthy boundaries are. When you use that tone of voice with me, I feel like you don't remember who I am. You know, say something. I get it. But if you happen to be living with somebody who has PTSD, use those powers wisely. Because it's just not always necessary to be heard. It's not. It's just not always necessary. I'm going to try to get some eyebrows on here. Let's see what we can do. Sometimes you just want to consider just simply being considerate. But they always have PTSD. Yes, sometimes they do. And sometimes they have a good day and you don't know whether to trust it or not. Which means you still don't understand PTSD. It's not about trusting whether they have a good day or bad day, whether they mean it or not. It's part of their DNA, sort of, at some point, if they don't get therapy, that they're going to have the symptoms of PTSD. And some people, I think, would commit suicide if they didn't have a way to vent their PTSD. Because you can't hold that kind of awfulness inside without it poisoning. Problem is, how much is it poisoning people around them, right? I know I look goofy. I know. I'm not in as much of a hurry this morning, so I decided to try being more with my eyebrows. Let's see what happens. Okay, if I get cut off or if I get quiet, it's just because the spouse is having some PTSD this last week. He's having some moments. And I think some cabin fever, because it's been so cold that, you know, a manly man feels kind of helpless when it's no fresh air or they're not able to do the work they want to do. And he always likes being out in the garage. So I understand that. And I'm trying to have some sympathy for it. Also, my workload out of coincidence got a little heavier, a little more confusing. A lot of stuff going on with the VA right now. And I don't know if that's part of it or if really it's just that there are some people who thought they had to have counseling or they wanted counseling and they're not following through. Excuse me, with their appointments. So I've been kind of on duty. The hurry up and wait thing. Yeah. Let's see. So that's been interesting. And what's funny is when I was younger, I used to get kind of flustered with it because I'd much rather be out riding my motorcycle or shopping or flirting or something. Not just sitting around. But as I age, it's like, well, I can honestly let them know that I waited. I was here the whole time. And after it's happened twice, and I think this time I might have given it a third time. I don't know why. I think as a favor to one of the VA reps more than anything. But it's 2 strikes, you're out. Especially just starting. It's like by the time someone misses 2 appointments, they've made it clear that they're not coming because they want to or because they're ready. And I don't care if you say they're shy. If you can't show up to something as important, if you can't prioritize that, you would think, well, they just don't know, but bleeding hearts aren't going to win this game of life. People will commit suicide. They will beat up their babies. They will beat up or stab somebody and cut them up. I don't know. I haven't had clients like that. I have had some counselors that I worked with have a suicidal client complete. And I've had one that I know of complete. And it's horrible. That's why I don't like sitting around doing nothing but waiting more than twice, 3 times at the most, because that's a lot of money out of my pocket. It's not fair because I work hard, right? When I'm with my clients. But it also keeps someone else from being able to have a session to help when they want it. Just tell me what to do. I had a client yesterday, a military guy who reminds me of exactly, because it coincided. I had 2 vets not show up. And then I had one show up, and this guy was like, this is what I'm doing, this is what I'm doing. And he kind of like rationalized a little bit. And I told him what I saw, what I was hearing. And you could see on his face. I love it. I love it when I get clients that you can see it on their face. He heard me and was like, oh, He's like, I don't want to be this way. He goes, I'm not hurting my wife. It's just I don't want to be this way for my baby. And I just thought, God, what an asshole. but no, I was like, so tell me about, did your dad treat his babies like that? And he goes, well, and he made it pretty clear. His dad was a yeller, very sensitive to being triggered. And I was like, but you said that you had such a good childhood. I said, you know, when kids are getting yelled at like that, they're so little, all they see is their God. The first God of their understanding hates them. That's all they feel. Like they could die. Back in caveman days, if the parents didn't love that baby, the baby got as bait or traded to another tribe or left out in the woods or eaten. I mean, that was the deal. Babies instinctively know they better be sweet. Little kids know they better be sweet or else. Or somehow they're triggered into behaving a certain way. So and it was like, no, everything's okay. Everything's okay. I said, but you don't want to be that way for your kids. So everything wasn't okay. You see how terrifying it is. And okay, I just had to try. I have a young man who has been watching about, we were talking my last live or the one before, talking a little bit about makeup. And this is the 16-hour Revlon Color Stay over time. I decided lip liner is so hard for me. And this is a lip color that I'm very familiar with. So I figure if I can get this lip stain to stay for 16 hours, maybe it'll be a long-lasting lip liner. You know what I mean? I don't know if I'm making any sense. Yeah. So I thought I'd use it as a lip liner. It's close enough to my lip color. If I put this on thick enough, it's just I don't have, from those burns I had, I don't have much lip liner. Natural lip. Most of my lip kind of peeled off. And there's no peach fuzz there or anything. You can kind of tell where that a lot of people have an edge. They'll have their lip and then they'll have like a second edge. I have a big second edge. So I'm not alone. It's not like I'm ashamed of my scarring or anything. I'd probably have it if I hadn't scarred. I don't know. But I see some people with these beautiful, well-defined lips, and I just think, how cool is that? So anyway, we're talking about sometimes people can't tell. As I'm talking to him, I can tell he really wasn't able to connect the dots from what he's previously known. So as we're connecting the dots together, you can just see where it's like, oh, this is information I needed to know. And finally, we're like halfway through the session, and I was just like, okay, so how are you feeling about what we're talking about so far? And he's like, it's a lot. Because I was telling him how when we're young, our parents are so important to us. Because I needed to find out where his PTS triggers were coming from, either childhood, military. Come in. All right, I'll talk to you later. Mwah. Bye for now.